It's
press it
because I almost knocked my mic over too.
This looks like something out of Harry Potter.
The notes or the food?
This.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. We'll get to that.
I know.
All right.
Food. I'm focused.
Welcome to the North Idaho Experience. I have to do a little bit of housekeeping here real quick. So we are also on all podcast platforms. So if you don't want to look at our hideous faces, you can listen to us on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and all other podcast platforms. Thank you. I had to throw that out there just to build up the listenership on there because we're not censored on audio. Sometimes I get fearful that the YouTube is going to censor us.
Yeah.
Because we do touch on some difficult topics. Today, special guest, and we are going to talk about, my mantra for today is discovery. We're going to dive into discovering some of the hidden gems here in the area, Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls. Where else? Raptor? You've been all over.
Oh yeah, I've been up to Sandpoint.
Food gems. Yeah. I should
and other
clarify
gems.
that.
I mean, there's a couple comic book stores that I don't know if anyone knows about. And
so
all sorts of cool things.
We're joined today by Ron Smith. That is the whitest name possible, but he's Hawaiian. So if you're watching, you'll see that. If you're not, now you know. And how long have you been in town? Not that long.
Just a little over 2 months.
2 months. Okay. I'm embarrassed because he's been here 2 months and he has discovered more about this town than I have in 4 years. If you're like me, you fall into a rut of eating out and you'll go to the easy place that you're used to and you don't ever experiment. Ron's not built like that. He is different, and he's been to some places that I have literally never heard of. Yes. Well, there's that. And so today we're going to talk about that. We're going to dive in and stick around in the end because there are a lot of cool gems. He brought food for us. We are joined by the lovely and talented Dave Fowler. I appreciate you so much because I can literally schedule a podcast and Dave shows up and he's like, what are we talking about today? And he flows with anything. The man can conversate with anything at any time. And I appreciate that about you, Dave. So here we go. I'm really excited. We had dinner. My wife and I had dinner with Ron and his wife the other night at Seasons. And he started dropping all these nuggets on me. Have you been to this place? Have you been to this place? And I was like, no, actually I have not. And I was like, we need to get on the podcast and talk about it because this information needs to get out there for a couple of reasons. One, to promote these local businesses that are small mom and pop type places that may not get the exposure that they need. And two, to expand the knowledge of local people that are listening to this podcast and people from out of the area that are either coming to visit or moving here to expand their knowledge as well. So that's the goal today. Ron, thank you for joining us.
Well, no, thank y'all. And it's Taco Tuesday, so I'm wearing my
I appreciate
T-Rex taco shirt.
T-Rex taco shirt.
It's also Tequila Tuesday. So, I mean, he's doing both. So he's a pretty cool, those short little arms. It's hard to do shots, but he'll figure it out. But I appreciate it. I just love, and hey, you are the reason I'm in Coeur d'Alene.
You found us on YouTube, right?
Both of y'all, yeah.
Yeah.
I found both of y'all on YouTube. Tammy and me were looking. We decided we were going to Seattle just to see what Seattle's about.
Oh, you dodged a bullet there, brother.
Well, actually, we got into got to Seattle, rented the car, and drove out here. So we got out here. You and your lovely wife met us for coffee at Life.
A good old Life.
And we got back to Juneau, Alaska. And about a week later, we're moving to Coeur d'Alene.
Wild.
So, I mean, and actually, that's how we kind of got to Alaska, too. We're both originally kind of from Texas, so it's kind of nice to be back into a civilized world.
So wait, you're not from California like everybody else? What's up with that?
No. Luckily, I've always dodged that bullet. It's kind of like COVID. It's something I don't believe in and never wanted. So we stayed away from California. I think I've landed there once.
Yeah.
And actually, I landed there during the start of COVID. Landed in LAX, and there wasn't a soul in the airport.
You thought the zombie apocalypse had started at that very moment?
I thought, I just thought California.
I plan my flights purposefully to not go through. If there's a layover, I'm like, nope. I don't want to go there. And if I do, my wife hates it because I'll wear a shirt like that and sit around in the airport proudly as everybody walks by.
Dave's referring to my Trump t-shirt that says "You missed," and it has Trump holding up two middle fingers. it's extremely offensive for other states,
I'm offended.
but it's very welcome here in Idaho. I think it's hilarious. My wife bought it for me. Thought it would be appropriate. Yeah, dude, I was actually just in California last weekend for a funeral. Not great reason, but it was a quick trip. And as I'd expect, the entire place was on fire. And there were helicopters flying over, dropping water. And I was like, yep, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Idaho now. And no regrets.
But, we've been here, as I said, 2 months. And Tammy and I, that's my wife, we're talking about this morning. We're still waiting to meet the unfriendly person.
Yeah.
Everyone we've met, even doing a drive-through, people are cheerful, they're happy. And I think it's because they know they have a good life here.
Yeah.
The life balance here is just off the charts. And it's a cool place. I mean, more people need to not come up here, but just visit.
Yeah. No, it's, it's nice to hear you say that, because that is something that I think people don't realize, is that life is really, really good. And we want to protect that too. I mean, it's a great community, and we like people that come here that recognize that.
Yeah.
Because then there's that less desire to change what it is. I don't want to take this for granted, because Seth is like your best friend, and he knows a lot about you, but our listeners and everything else, I don't. What's your background? Because I know food is part of it. What's your background? You started in Texas, lived in Alaska, and what else?
Well, really, I grew up in Europe, moved to Texas, middle of my high school. Loved Texas. Did a few things. I was a photographer for a while. I was a musician for a while. Mainly, I just don't like working. So I got into the food business and became this director of culinary services, like for a culinary chef for Fresh Point, which is part of Cisco. Did that for a while until they realized that they didn't know what I was doing. So about that time, COVID hit, luckily. I had a digital magazine going on. We did that for a while. And then it sounds terrible, my mom died. And I had stayed in Texas because of my mom, and all my buddies were always like, you've always talked crap to us about go for your dreams, go for your dreams. You got to put your money where your mouth is. So Tammy got an offer in Alaska. So he said, hey, we'll do the Great Adventure. That lasted about 2.5 years.
Well, you were in a real small town, right? What town?
Well, we were in Cordova,
okay,
which is population 1,500. I got into the only major car accident they've ever had there. And it totaled my Cooper, and they had to take injury to insult. They had to put my Cooper on a forklift and drive it down the road because they really didn't have the equipment to tow it off. So I'm sitting there, kind of sitting on the side of the road, watching my little Cooper just being forklifted up and going about 5 miles down the road. So from there, we moved to Juneau, 33,000 people there. Once again, no roads in. So it's just you fly in or you take a boat. Rehab for about a year, went to work for the state. Wow. Learned more about the government than I ever want to know.
Oh, yeah.
So as I said, we came down here, got a job offer, and we still have stuff in Alaska we need to go get just because we wanted to get here so fast.
Yeah. We talked about this the other night. There's Dave's phone.
I know. I'll call you back later.
We talked about this the other night because the digital magazine idea is really cool, especially tying into what the learning that you were able to do about this area is so fast. And I think, if you're downtown Coeur d'Alene, you're probably going to bump into Ron at any number of places, and he's probably going to talk to you. So, you're kind of like a local resource already. I can't even imagine what you'd be like in a couple of years.
Yeah, make sure don't call the police on me. I'm just going to talk to you about food, and just want to make sure. It was funny and it's something that's really cool about here. You go to Alaska, and they take everything literally. So if you're in a restaurant from Texas, you call the waitress darling, you're in serious problems. I mean, they will look at you and stare at you and just, bad service. And so it's kind of nice to be in a place where you can actually talk to people and they'll converse and they get humor and they get jokes, and not all Alaska's like that. I'm going to get hate mail from people from Alaska. But this, as I keep saying, this town is just so cool because you can actually joke around and, be yourself.
You've been all over. Have you ever been to a place with a community like this?
Seriously, no. I mean, New Braunfels, which is right outside of San Antonio, between San Antonio and Austin, was very similar. Unfortunately, and once again, I'm not going to knock Californians, but they've had a real big insurgent of not just Californians, but a lot of other people. And I was trying to get friends of mine that were politically connected to pass a law that you couldn't, if you moved into the state, you couldn't vote for 5 years until you learned how things were done.
Oh, wow.
Just because, and you've mentioned that it's amazing how many people leave an area to come to like Idaho. And then the first thing they want to do is change it.
Right.
And it's like, guys, there was a reason why you left.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's a conscious effort. I think it's a lot of times people are used to living a certain way and they don't even realize what they're doing. I haven't seen that as much up here in North Idaho. I think we're widely known as a very conservative area, and the people that are moving here tend to follow that trend and know how bad things can get in other places because they've seen it firsthand. So when they come here, at least in the people we've experienced, they don't try to do that.
Well, that's the thing. Like you said, it is very subconscious. I talk about like shopping local all the time, right? When you spend local, the money stays in your community. That's how you build a community wealth. When you're buying on Amazon and doing stuff like that, I mean, but that's an unconscious thing that people do in California, right? Those bigger cities, people don't want to necessarily go out and buy all that stuff. So they have everything shipped to their home. And that's something like I encourage people to go out, go to these restaurants, go meet these people, go meet people in town, be okay talking to people, because that is really a North Idaho staple. I mean, you see how friendly people are. That's because people get out of their houses, they go places, they go shop, they are involved in small business, community events. That's something that I think subconsciously people come up here and they don't realize that they're not doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for example, Dave and I, we will never ask you to meet us at Starbucks.
Nope.
There are Starbucks here, but if you show up to meeting with us and you have a Starbucks cup in your hand, that's a big no-no. Big no-no.
We'll buy you real coffee.
We'll buy you real coffee. There's about 100
local
coffee shops here that are locally owned that are fantastic in their own way. So it's huge. It's super important, right? Those are the families that live here with us. So we need to support them. With that being said, dude, drop some knowledge on us.
Well, everything sitting here is local.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Ron brought stuff.
Granted that the sour or the cream cheese is Tillamook, which is Oregon. The crackers are out of a place in Washington. That's Idaho. The basket, the bowl, and the little cheese thing was done at a thrift store in the local area. So, I mean,
this is Idaho Huckleberry Pepper Jelly.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Oh, man, bro.
Is that good?
Oh.
And that was bought at Kitty G's. If y'all haven't been to Kitty G's, it's in Post Falls on the old side, I think. Isn't that the old side if it's near the DMV and stuff?
Yeah. It's over. That's like my hood, man.
Yeah.
It's over there.
Yeah. The restaurant you wanted to go eat at that one day, it's right in front of that.
I tried this.
As a matter of fact, we went there and then we went to eat at Republic last night. Got the pork belly and it was just off the charts. And it's, once again, it's a local restaurant. It was unbelievably great staff. I got into a conversation with our waitress about tattoo etiquette, which was quite unique.
Was she breaking the rules?
No, I was just making sure what I could point at and what I could ask about. And, because in Texas, there's tattoos, but it's not quite as abundant as is up here. And, when there's nothing more uncomfortable from a guy to be staring at a tattoo that unfortunately is at an inappropriate place because you really can't get them to believe, no, I'm just looking at the tattoo. I'm thinking about getting one. I need to see that. Right. So I just asked her, I said, how do we go about doing that? How does a guy do about that? So, it was a very interesting, not only great food, but great conversation, which I find a lot of around here.
All right, Ron, remind me, where did you get this from?
That's from Kitty G's.
Kitty, where's that at?
It is in Post Falls. It's on the inside. Matter of fact.
Yeah.
That might be some of the best. That is amazing.
That's her card.
Look at that. Kitty G's, Kitty.
Her name is Ashley. Her husband is Johnny. They came up about 7 years ago. Just an awesome couple.
That's ridiculous.
Friendly.
Okay. Kitty G's fine meats and cheese. Sliced to order salamis, prosciuttos, luncheon meats, and gourmet cheeses. What? How have I not had this in my life?
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I used to sell cheese to chefs. they have a heck of a selection.
Really?
I mean, it's just hardcore.
So you just put, what kind of cheese did you mix this with?
That's just cream cheese.
Just cream cheese.
Yeah.
That's it.
Usually I'd have blended it a little better, but yeah, it's just cream cheese.
Dude, that
jelly.
is unreal how good that is.
Yeah, it's a cheater secret.
Oh my goodness.
You can do
So you got the pepper jam, pepper jelly.
Yep.
Huckleberry, Idaho huckleberry pepper jelly and cream cheese mixed up.
And that's Tillamook cream cheese.
Okay.
Dude.
And the crackers are from Washington State.
That is amazing.
The bowl and the basket are from UGM thrift store.
How cool.
So it's just, there's just so many ways. And I mean, every store you walk into, every restaurant you walk in, somebody's got a story. A lot of them are why they're here.
Yeah.
Or a lot of them are, you go to Sierra Ranch, the chili place in Silver Lake Mall, and it's his and his dad's recipe, and they worked hard to do it, and they've won a few contests, and he's just massively proud of it. He's also at the Kootenai Farmers Market on Saturday usually. But I mean, you just get the feel of what the community is about.
Yeah. How do you find places? What do you do? Just drive around?
I just drive around. One thing you'll notice if you go to my Instagram, which just has changed now, it's North Idaho today. If I have a picture of it, 99% of the time means I enjoyed the meal.
Okay.
Because I won't post restaurants I don't like, and I just don't say anything about them. When I did radio, that we had the same rule. If we didn't like it, we didn't bring it up because no one needs bad press. And I may have walked in on a bad day.
Okay.
Every restaurant.
That's a good way to look at it.
Every restaurant has a bad day. So until you've been there, if you walk in on the third try and it's still horrible, 10 to 1 that it's horrible.
Okay.
But so many restaurants, I mean, and being from the restaurant world, I understand short staff. I understand your purveyor didn't have the right meat. Somebody asked me yesterday, they said, well, you were a chef. What's the difference? And a lot of the difference is when you're a chef, you have access to primo ingredients. Mm. There's schooling and there's training and there's learning, but a lot of it is what we get to cook with. And then here you go to the farmer's market and you get some of the freshest meat, veggies. I mean, every meal can be just like a chef did it. So,
dude. Okay.
Let's go through some of these.
Yeah.
Man.
Hit me up. See, Kitty G's, we already touched on that. You got them broken down by city. So let's just stick to Post Falls while we're there and run through some of the fine spots you've been to.
If you haven't had breakfast in Old European,
I have not.
You were missing the boat.
I know where it is. I drive by it. It's off Celtice, right? By Yokes.
Right down
by
from
Yokes in
Yokes.
Post Falls.
Almost in front of Tim's Selective Cut Meat Market, which is a really good meat market too.
Okay.
Old European.
I haven't been to a meat market since college, but what?
He's here all the week, folks. The amazing thing about Old European is not only is the food really good, the staff may be one of the best wait staffs I've ever encountered in 63 years. I mean, massively knowledgeable, friendly. They brought us out. I think we got free orange juice or a free sample of their orange juice. We talked to the manager for a little bit, and the food is just off the charts. I mean, you really.
That is awesome.
They do breakfast and lunch.
Breakfast and lunch.
No dinner.
Not that I saw. I saw it was breakfast and lunch.
Okay, so that's Old European.
Old European.
Celtice.
One of them I don't even know if I need to say anything about is White House because everyone pretty much
White House
White
have been
House.
there.
Yeah. Really good food. I was luckily enough we were there when they had belly dancing going on. So there was a show. Both the lady, the woman belly dancing, and the guys are around her that probably have never seen a stomach or a midriff before.
So White House is Greek food.
Yes, Greek food.
Predominantly. I went there.
Make sure you like garlic.
They're big on garlic.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I got there, but I ate there recently and it was killer.
Tasty food. Now I know he owns the one, the Oval Office down the road that's being rebuilt. So we're waiting for that one.
Oval Office and White House. I like it.
Yeah. Really great food court right next to Real Life Church on the backside. And if you get a chance, go in there. The Friendly Island Grill does island food, which is near and dear to my heart. Just excellent food. And they've got a really great pavilion I mean, it's like an total indoor pavilion.
That's off of 41, right?
Right, off 41.
Okay, I've seen it from the road. I've never driven back to it.
Ziggy's is like right at the turn where you want to turn.
Okay.
So that's really good. What else did I really like? It's a bookstore, but Kindred's another great place if you just want to get a cup of coffee. They have some nice bakery goods and just chill, because that whole area is just unbelievable.
That's Kindred and Co.
Yeah. Right there.
Beautiful building.
Yeah.
That's in that new development. And they've got the bookstore and then that like cafe downstairs. That's a cool spot.
That's a cool spot, because I know there's going to be a lot of development there. And I mean, that's one of those places that when we decide where we're going to move, they're like number one on our list.
That's Millworks. That was trying to think
Millworks.
Millworks.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a bunch of little coffee shops there. There's a Terra there. There's a great place, Birdie's. They've got a bakery there.
Hold on, I haven't been to Birdie's. Give me more about Birdie's.
Birdie's.
That's Birdie's Pie Shop.
Birdie's Pie Shop.
Okay,
Oh,
I've seen
yes.
it. I have not been
heard
there.
about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I actually haven't been in their shop, but I was at an event that got catered up at, where'd you say I was at?
You were on Stella's on the Green?
Yeah, up at Stella's on the Green, and they catered the dessert. And even though I'm diabetic and I'm not supposed to eat this stuff, I ate it. And the reaction I had was well worth it. I mean, it just was, slap your mother good. I mean, it was just tasty. And I've actually been at one other event where I got a chance to eat their pastries, so I got to take a minute. I mean, it is so worth it.
I love good desserts.
Yeah.
Like I'm over eating candy and just other crap that's just processed. Like getting good desserts,
like homemade.
Oh my gosh. Like
quality.
Those are just, it's hard to find something that's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when you find those, that's like a diamond in the rough.
Especially consistent. I mean, you just really want somebody that that we were at Republic Kitchen and Tap Room.
Yep.
Which is right up from Kitty G's, actually. And we had their food, and at the end of the night, we had it's like a brown buttered donut with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, and a slice chunk of ice cream that we've gotten. So we split dessert so that I don't go comatose. But it just, after the meal and just the conversation, it was just like the perfect end. And, it's important. This is my plug for weight people. It's important that you take care of your weight person. Because I was in the food industry for 30, 40 years, and they do mess with your food in the back if you don't. So always important. Yeah.
Good to know.
You know what? Speaking of great little things, so this guy makes sourdough pretzel bites.
Yeah.
And I'll kid you not, he brought those over to our house one night. They are some of the best that I've ever had.
They will ruin you.
You got to have some of his.
So I'm not his bestest friend now.
Oh my gosh. Wow. You got to get some of those. Those are great.
Bought me dinner, but you never made anything for me.
We'll get there. I honestly, I can't bake them very often because they're so damn good. It wrecks me. I'll eat all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
So what part of the carnivore diet's that on?
Yeah, exactly. None.
I thought I'd check.
None. Thank you for pointing that out. My wife will appreciate that.
And as you asked, my wife works at Heritage Health at their main headquarters, which is right next to the farmer's market.
Oh yeah.
So I usually take her to work until we get our stuff and I get the other car. And so I usually just drive around and look, and no, I don't have a job. She's my sugar mama. So, I mean,
well, this is almost like a job, right? This is important.
This is what I tell her we're going to build into the career.
Yeah.
So, I do drive a lot, and I do always look for, and I hate the term hole in the wall, but the little out of the traffic area restaurants, because that's where you're, especially when you're from Texas, the best Mexican food restaurant is not in the chains. It's in the one that's off some back street. I was in San Francisco years ago, and my cousin was engaged to a girl from Chinatown. And I still have no idea where we went to eat, and I don't have much of an idea of what all we ate. But the food was just off the charts.
Yeah.
Because it was serving the public.
Well, let me ask you this. I've never been to Europe, but so I hear a lot of people, you hear Joe Rogan talk about it, all these different people, is that when they go overseas, like the food tastes so much better when they come back here. Like you talk about dietary issues, stomach problems, everything else, and just how processed our food is. Do you notice coming from Europe? I don't know if you remember much of that or what, and obviously having a little more culinary expertise than us. How do you feel like some of these mom and pop places compare when you put them against chains in terms of freshness and like the quality of the food and everything else?
Well, and I don't want to knock the chains because I've made a lot of money in my careers, selling to chains. But it's just like so many programs. The chains go on bid. So they bid out all their product. They buy, and they don't always, I need to preference that way. They don't always buy the cheapest, but they buy the most fiscally responsible product. And they have a lot of rules and regulations. One of the things I did for Fresh Point is I'd go out to the farmers and teach them how to get their right insurance and stuff so that the small farmers could sell to the hotels and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, if I'm a big restaurant and I'm buying salads, I may be in Texas, my salads are coming from California. I used to do a lot of business in Texas off the LA market, which is fine and dandy because California is a great place to grow stuff. Different stuff. But, half the time it's going to be shipped. It's going to be in a truck.
Yeah.
It's going to take 3 or 4 days for it to get to you. You buy asparagus. Most asparagus in certain seasons come from South America. It's put on a boat. And they'll pick it early so that it'll kind of ripen on different products depending on if it'll do that. But even though it looks good and stuff, it's not as fresh as it could be. If you can get a restaurant that he's hooked up with the local meat guy, he's hooked up with the local farmer, he gets, fresh pig or something like that. I mean, you're dealing with a product that is fresher. A lot of times it hasn't been coated with pesticides or herbicides or something to keep it fresh on that long transportation. So it's just fresher. It's nice. I love going to Yolks because I really like their produce section. I mean, it really looks like good produce. And I talk to the guys there and, they're always, and they're employee owned. I mean, they've got a lot of stake in what they're doing. But yeah, a lot of times, and especially in Europe, especially in the old days, I grew up in the 60s and 70s. There wasn't even a McDonald's in Europe at the time. And a lot of the chefs used to get up first thing in the morning, they'd go to the farmer's market and they'd pick stuff out and they'd be delivered, 2-3 hours later for their kitchen. And some chefs in New York and stuff will still do that. But for a lot of chains and stuff, A, they don't have time. And B, because of insurance regulations and stuff, they can't do all that.
Okay.
So a lot of times it's not the people working in the chains. It's just the legal system.
Right. Okay. So what else you got here? We staying in Post Falls or we jumping somewhere else?
Well, let's go to Hayden. I've found is a really cool little place.
Hayden's got some cool stuff.
They got some cool restaurants. They got Chompers.
Chompers is classic.
Yeah. So that's also associated with Bell's Brunch House. Have you seen Bell's Brunch House?
Yeah.
So same owners.
All right.
And we love the Bats is like my favorite breakfast there.
Yeah.
Well,
bacon, avocado, tomato, and what is S? Remember?
Sourdough?
Swiss? I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, the Bats breakfast is amazing.
I mean, we ate there once, worth the wait. A lot of times if you have to wait, it's I used to aggravate other chefs because they don't like this concept. But if your experience waiting and your front of the house is bad, your meal is going to suffer. Yeah. Because you've already got the attitude. The fact that Chompers was quick. We didn't wait that long. Friendly staff, really cool inside. A lot of things to keep your mind occupied that you've waited 10, 15 minutes. And then the food was just excellent.
So did you have a cinnamon roll?
Yes.
That is like their thing, right?
I had a half a cinnamon roll.
Yeah,
don't want.
That'll kick your diabetes up
real quick. Yeah. I haven't gotten the doctor here yet, but I want to make sure if he listens to this podcast that I'm not going to walk in. He's going to be like, hey. I ate at Parallel 47.
Okay.
That's a cool restaurant.
Cool vibe.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a really good vibe. Nice wait staff, had a burger. And that's the burger world. As a chef working for food companies, I used to always walk into a restaurant, no matter what it was, except for Chinese, and I'll order a burger. Mainly because if you can't do a burger right, you're probably going to have a difficult time doing anything complicated.
Okay.
But then when you get to the burgers, do you like that burger that's just a little dry and tasty, not bone dry, but just a little bit of juice? Or you like that burger that by the time you're done, you've got burger juice going down your chin, the bun's all.
That one.
Yeah. And Parallel 47's burger was just that type. It was like, oh man, I'm not doing anything the rest of the day. This is what I just had. It's nap time. Wait staff was good. And you're right. You know, the outdoor patio, walking in that backside, it's just a really great vibe.
Yeah. I like, yep. Parallel 49 or 47 is a good one.
Now we actually added at Torjo Viejo, which is a little Mexican restaurant right around the corner from there that, I actually liked, and I'm pretty, you know, you're from California. California has its own distinct Mexican food.
He's from the part of California where the Mexican food's really,
oh my
really
gosh,
good.
So good.
So you probably like Baja Mexican food and stuff like that.
Well, like a California burrito down there. I've been
Yeah.
trying to find them up here, and I just can't.
The one with French fries in it?
like good French fries, though, right?
That's
still
not
crispy.
That's not real Mexican food.
Oh, I don't care. That was amazing.
Well, and it's funny because Texas doesn't do Mexican food. Texas does Tex-Mex.
Oh, okay.
California does California. And depending on what you're brought up, if you go to Mexico, a lot more flavors, a lot more sauces, a lot more veggies. But depending on what you're brought up, really stamps what you think is Mexican food.
Right.
Torjo had good Mexican food that had a lane towards Tex-Mex. I had it's like a puffy taco, that had nice ground beef and stuff like that. A lot of times if you're in a California restaurant, instead of lettuce, they use cabbage.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, that's always a big trait because, I mean, most Tex-Mex doesn't use cabbage at all.
Okay.
Whereas, and I'm sure there's somebody out there that either has grown up in these areas and they're going to say I'm wrong. But sorry, you're not on the air. But I mean, it just was a really good, once again, good staff. And that's the amazing thing up here. I haven't had bad staff yet. I haven't had wait people that obviously wish they were doing something else than waiting on me.
And people up here seem to do pretty good, especially the mom and pop.
Yeah.
Like it's just, they don't, I mean, they want to hire people that are local. They want to hire people that want to be there.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think that vibe, I think you're right. I really haven't had bad wait staff up here as well.
Well, we went to, we decided to risk it. And we went to the mall that's in Liberty Lake.
Spokane Mall?
Spokane Mall.
Oh, Spokane Valley.
And mainly because I wanted to go to a Barnes & Noble because I love Barnes & Nobles. But yeah, I mean, it was the difference. You know, the Barnes & Nobles was exactly what I remember as a Barnes & Noble. And we went into the mall and we ate at the food court strictly because I wanted to eat at a food court again and watch the people.
Yeah.
And remember why I usually don't eat at food courts. You know, because once again, not bad food. I mean, for what it is.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a rush. It's very impersonal. You're just watching people with screaming babies, and people that just shouldn't be in public. You know, in public, and it was nice to remember why I moved up here. You know, and it was funny that it was 15 miles away.
Yeah.
And it's like you got into a different world that.
Why is that?
I know, it's amazing.
It's so weird.
The yards look different because we drove through the neighborhoods. The yards look different. The trees look sad. We just, you know, and it was like, wow.
Even the trees hate it.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, it's just, and once again, this is entertainment, folks. So don't take it personally. I mean, if I met you on the street, I could probably tell whether you're from, but I'll still be friendly. You know, but I mean, it's just, and I think a lot of it is attitude. I think there's an attitude here. If you live in this area or visiting this area and you've never gone to the park on a Sunday and listen to the music and have a hot dog or something, you don't know what you're missing. Yeah. I mean, it is like.
You're talking about McEwen Park downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah. Downtown Coeur d'Alene, McEwen Park.
Because I keep on looking for Andy and Barney Fife.
Yeah.
Because you just feel like you've stepped back and it's just,
you know what? Just wait, because you're about to enter the good season here in Coeur d'Alene. Because after people go home, after school starts, after things kind of vacate, and it's no longer the destination location it is for the summer, you just wait. Going downtown in fall, especially when it's still nice out, you still have decent weather, or it's just cooling off. It's enough to throw on a sweatshirt and go out there.
I can't wait.
You will be amazed. The locals start coming back downtown because it's not flooded with people, and you really get a good sense of the people that live here. That is the best time in Coeur d'Alene. I mean, it's coming. I'm excited for it. My wife gets emotional and depressed once summer leaves. But
have you been to La Cochinita? Speaking of Hayden, it's a taco place on Government. It's right on Government. You'll drive by it. It's in a little strip mall. Can't remember the cross street, but right there in Hayden, La Cochinita. They have very unique tacos. You've been there, right, Dave?
I haven't.
What?
Yep.
I mean, they have one with like octopus in it.
Is that the pig head?
Yep.
Okay, I know what it is. They have the food truck, I think.
Oh, yes, I have. I've been
cool
there.
Vibe.
I have been there.
And the staff is phenomenal. Once again, like awesome, super friendly. We've been there multiple times.
I have a gift card in my car.
Yeah, it's cool. That's a great place to check out. Like I said, it is not traditional Mexican food by any means. No, but it's good. Very,
and that's the cool thing. We went up to Sandpoint in Ponderay.
So I got a couple favorites up there.
A couple of weeks ago, and ate at Farmhouse
Pizza,
Farmhouse Kitchen.
Oh,
it's in Ponderay.
Okay,
I had a really good burger, and they've got a really cool steer head on the wall. That's just, you got to go just to see the steer head.
Oh, you reminded me. I'm like digging on two things right now. One, if you have not been to Sandpoint, so there's the Pack River store up there.
Okay.
The first time somebody took me there, I'm like, where are you taking me? Like, this is uncomfortable.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It is in the middle of nowhere. That Pack River store has the best breakfast burrito I've had.
Really?
It is. I mean, it's worth the drive. I've had a bad morning where I'm like, I'm going to drive to Sandpoint and go get a breakfast burrito. And it's an hour drive up there. Yeah. It's a nice, pretty drive. You end up in the middle of nowhere, literally on the Pack River.
Nothing around it.
Nothing. And I mean, you go in there, like you'll be eating breakfast there, and the beer fridge is right behind you. So people are like buying, you're moving to the side. But the breakfast burrito there is freaking phenomenal. And once again, going back to your point, the staff there are awesome.
Yeah.
That is the best breakfast burrito. And then if you like Reuben's,
dude, the Reuben
down in Deary, Idaho.
Oh, I thought you were going to go.
That's the best Reuben. This little family. There's only one place to eat down there, right? The biggest thing in town is the school. There's like 500 people there. I don't know if I'll ever go back to Deary, but if I do, there is a Reuben sandwich there. It was like $16. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I took one bite. I'm like, never mind. Make it 20. I'm in. That was good.
Yeah, well, we hit Sandpoint, and I almost lost it. I mean, there's just tons of cool things. We went to the mall that's on the bridge, which is just if you're married and you want to make your wife really happy, take her to that mall, because it's got food and knickknacks and things for the kids, things for her, great views. I mean, you can actually wait till she's not looking and walk off, and she won't notice you're gone for at least an hour. And there's just tons of cool places to eat, and it's just gorgeous.
That's cool. I've got two favorites in Sandpoint that I have to mention. I always mention Smoke Smith Barbecue. I can't remember the street it's on. It's easy to find in Sandpoint. It's not on the main drag, and the vibe inside is again phenomenal. Amazing staff, and they have I don't know if they have it every day, but they have it on Fridays. They have this jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage that it will bring tears of joy to your eyes. It's that good, and their brisket's killer. I have not had the ribs there, but that is a great place. Smoke Smith. My other favorite is Joel's Tacos. And I know you go there too, right? They have a really good breakfast burrito too. And then they have their tacos are like enormous. They're not. I'm sure they're not super traditional, but they're killer. So
that's the thing that I always watch out for is people. Well, that's not traditional, and I'm kind of that with Tex-Mex. But it's like if I enjoyed it,
who cares?
Yeah,
right?
It just went out the window.
Yeah,
I could care less.
Those are the same people that are going to review all the bad restaurants.
Yeah,
it's a totally different perspective. Like you said, you're coming in here to tell us what's good.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the other questions that people get talked about is price point.
Yeah.
How expensive and stuff. And it's like, and you had talked about Europe. In Europe and other really big food cities, the difference in their restaurants is that is the destination. here a lot of times we're going to go to the movie, so we're going to stop something to eat. We're going shopping, so we're going to go eat something and stuff. In Europe, San Francisco used to be this way. We're going to go to that restaurant for a couple of hours. We're going to enjoy our meal. We're going to have maybe a drink before, a little cocktail. We're going to have an appetizer. We're going to have our meal. Then we're going to have a little cup of coffee and a dessert. It is an experience.
That's the experience. Yeah.
So that's when you look at, okay, I just spent, for me and my wife, I just spent $80-$90. But we spent the whole evening there. We didn't spend the money on anything else. And it just was unbelievable. Years ago, when I first started out, I ate at a restaurant called Lynn's. I don't even know if they're still in Houston. And you ordered a steak, and they rolled a cart out with the steaks, so you could pick your steak.
Oh, that's cool.
You ordered. I was drinking bourbon and Coke at the time. The bartender rolls his cart up and makes his bourbon and Coke right there for you.
See, that's awesome.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, the chef walks up and goes, "Hey, these are some of the sides I'm doing tonight. Would you mind trying some?" He's got a little bowl, and you're picking out your side. Same with desserts, and I mean, and this will be my profanity for the day. They kiss your ass the whole time you were there. I mean, as far as you're concerned, no one else is in that restaurant but you. Granted, yeah, it was probably the most expensive meal I've ever bought, but you walk out and it's been such an experience, and I told somebody, they said, well, how much is expensive? And I said, well, how much do you pay at Disney World, for an experience for a day?
Yeah.
This is even better because it's adult. But, you really just have to put in perspective that, hey, if I go and, I walk out and I'm thinking about that restaurant 4 or 5 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Price shouldn't be an issue.
That's
you can't do that every night, but,
right.
When you go out to eat for a nice meal, treat yourself,
Yeah.
We ate, when we first got here, the first place we ate was Hula Pot, which is right down, probably right there, actually.
It's on, is it on 95?
No, it's like on 4th Street, or it's right downtown.
It's new. It used to be a Chinese place. Yeah. Right on 4th.
As I said, I'm Hawaiian. The food to me was very home inspiring. It's one of those that I ate and I was like, oh man, my grandmother must be in the kitchen, and, you just, the experience, the overall experience and the quality of food, just, it's got to combine. When it combines, the fact that you're just walking out and going, man, I've just been taken on a trip. I've just gone to, when you have good barbecue, man, you're like on a ranch, sitting on the porch, just eating your barbecue and stuff. And
there's your idea right there.
When it takes you away, what's the price of that?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever looked at it. I mean, I guess I have, but I didn't put words to it as a whole experience. Cause there are some places here. Wolf Lodge Steakhouse. You've been there yet?
No, but I've heard lots and a lot of people,
it's a cool
they
experience.
say Wolf Lodge and you can see in their eyes, wow, there was something about that affected me.
Yeah. I love it there. Dave took me there for my birthday.
I did.
Yeah. You don't remember.
I didn't even have,
it was only a couple months ago. I could see how you'd forget.
I wasn't even drinking. I couldn't even have any bourbon.
Oh, you couldn't even have good food. You just had
Damn it. Yeah. I was eating.
Yeah.
It was still good food. Good salmon.
Yeah. My birthday's September 6th.
Just saying.
And my wife's out of town. So if there's anyone that feels sorry for me.
Noted.
Just get a hold of either of these and they can get a hold of me.
Take you somewhere special.
All right. What else you got? So Hula Pot, I see you got Seasons on there.
Seasons, that's where we went and had a Chilean sea bass.
Yeah.
It was really tasty. Good service. Caddyshack.
Oh, that's Dave's jam right there.
I love Caddyshack.
I love Caddyshack. You walk in and you just, it's got great graphics and everything on the wall. The staff was good. And I had that bacon jalapeno cheeseburger that's always on their sign, and it was just like, I think I had an Arnold Palmer, a little tea and lemonade. Actually this weekend I had a drunken Arnold Palmer that was awesome. Ooh. It was, sweet tea, vodka, and lemonade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really good.
You know what's cool about that place? When you walk in, it wasn't just put there, right? It's years of collection and everything else. The guy that owns it, the owner's always there. I can't remember his name. I've talked to him a few times, though. Anyways, and it's always a local vibe. And yeah, it's honestly, they could have bad food and I wouldn't care because I love the environment of just going there and just seeing the same faces and the same people and it is the sports bar. It is a cool spot.
Well, that was why Cheers, the TV show, made it so well. Cause especially guys, we all want that place where we walk in and everybody knows our name.
Yeah.
Everyone says, "Hey, Ron," and you want that. And when you can find that in a restaurant or a local bar, which is where you're going to find it. Yeah. Because usually their turnover is not as high and stuff. Especially when you bring friends. Yeah, we're going here and they walk in. Hey, and you're like, yep, I know a few people.
That is super cool. And it carries over. Funny story real quick about Caddyshack. We go there and we almost always have the same waitress. Okay. She knows that I want the number 9 with avocado. Like she knows what we want. My son wants chili, no onion. Like she knows what we want. Anyways, I saw her in Target and I'm not good at this. When I see somebody out of place, half the time I see Seth on the road. I'm like, I know you from somewhere. If we're not selling houses, I don't know. So we saw her in Target. She comes up and it's cool because people, once again, they like you. They like to talk to you. Like she walks up, she's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "I know this girl." My kids recognize her and I don't know. I'm like, where? So we have this awkward conversation and it took me a little, we walk away and I look at my kids. I'm like, who is she? Like, Dad, she's a waitress at Caddyshack. I'm like, God dang it. Really? So luckily I ran into her again. I'm like, I'm so sorry if that was weird. It's just, I wasn't, out of place, but
it's tough. I had somebody, I was wearing because I have a bunch of different versions of this shirt and, we were at some event and some woman walked up and she goes, "Man, you always wear the nicest shirts." And she walked off and I'm like, and Tammy's standing. She goes, "Oh, who's that?" I have no idea. Of course, Tammy's like, "Well, she sure notices what you wear a lot." And I'm like, I don't know. It's my signature, I guess.
At least you didn't say like, "I like seeing you in a shirt."
Yeah.
That would be weird.
That'd be a little more awkward.
That'd look good at the foot of the bed. But that's all the restaurant world. That's all the, restaurants, little bars. They're all a place, especially in a community like this, where you get that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
That you walk in and you're sitting there, nothing cooler than sitting in a restaurant and watching friends walk by or, somebody, sitting at a table over, a couple of things that you can say, hey, and, this is, when you combined everything, this is a fairly big community. When you combine Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Hayden, as far as the cities go, it's a fairly big community, but it still has that small community vibe.
Okay.
People still know each other. People still go up and say, hey, you see the same people in church or at the grocery store or at the restaurant. And it's amazing for me, after only being here 2 months, how many people Tammy and I recognize when we're walking around and would say, hey, and
that's so cool.
Yeah. We run into him way too much.
You happen to be a guy that I could probably recognize you in a crowd.
Yeah.
So you got a very distinguishable face. Let's just say that.
He may be my new best friend.
I got a good question for him once we're done here. I'm going to put you on the spot once we go through these.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh yeah. I want to know.
So we still in Coeur d'Alene. What else you got?
One of the, I've had a few people go, I can't believe you went there, is Tomato Street.
Good food.
But the thing I liked about Tomato Street, is it a super big Italian restaurant? No, but is it the perfect place if you have a family? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had some big tables. The wait staff was really nice. The food was solid. And I'm a big, firm believer that, is it going to compete against a high-end Italian restaurant? Maybe not, but that's not what it's going for.
Right.
It's going for, the family, we had chicken parmesan, the big plates, the big appetites, and, just a family atmosphere. And we really enjoyed it. It was good. I
don't think it gets enough attention. I've only been there once and we had a great time. And honestly, my reason for not going back is kind of the experience thing. Why do I go to Wolf Lodge? Like I like to drive out there. It's by itself. Why do I go to Pack River Store where this is on Appleway and then, Texas Roadhouse on 95, like all the places that have good food. Yeah. I prefer to be at Daft Badger, in a little neighborhood. Right. Yeah. So I think that's the only thing that keeps me away there, but they do have good food.
And sometimes that really affects you. You look at, I ate at, Noodle Express yesterday. in Hayden,
Mm-hmm.
because Tammy called me at the last minute. I was driving by and she goes, "Hey, can you get me lunch?" Drove in there, hadn't been in there yet. Got her an Asian roll. I got a little rice bowl, and it was just good, solid food. It was quick. It was tasty. It filled a need that I was hungry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know there's people. Well, it's sitting in a mall.
Yeah,
you know, it's on a strip center. But yeah, I mean, you got to look at what restaurants are there and why they're where they're at, what their image is, and what they're trying to do.
Mm.
You know, Wolf Lodge, they would never be in a strip center.
No,
but that's not the crowd they want.
Right.
You know, they also are going to take a little longer. You know, so you Killer Burgers. Ooh.
Buddy.
Killer Burgers is, I mean, that's
up in Hayden.
Yeah.
Legit. That's that greasy burger.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't like it there. It's like too much for her, but man, I will murder those burgers.
Yeah.
Those are really good.
I mean, would that be good in a freestand out by itself? No, because you'd probably think, well, that's going to be a little flu for me. I just want a burger.
Yeah.
You know, so it is the perfect place for a burger.
Have you had Hudson's hamburgers?
Hudson's?
Oh, man.
Sherman. Downtown.
Right down here on Sherman, across from the resort. It's on 2nd and Sherman, right there across from like Fig Pickles.
Yeah, I know.
It's probably as wide as this table, cash only. And they don't do anything there except for burgers, and you can have a soda. They don't make fries, nothing.
Pie. They have pie. Yes.
That's random.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
It is random.
They make the burgers right in front of you. They're pulling everything off. I mean, it's really good, but that's all it is. It's burger. Do you want cheese? Yes or no?
Pickles.
They have pickles too. That's it.
I should have.
And it's been there since 1908.
Yes.
Or something.
I should have worn my shirt. I actually went to the Chicago burger place. The burger, chips, no fries, Pepsi, no Coke from Saturday Night Live. And
burger, chips, no fries.
Yeah, they don't exaggerate. That's exactly how they are.
Yeah.
They're about, hey, do y'all have a shirt? You want this one? No, do y'all sell shirts? Not really. We're a burger place. I mean, that
vibe in itself is extremely entertaining. Hudson's is kind of that way. It's like they're so nonchalant behind the counter. Yep. It's like, oh, you want another one? And then they'll just throw it on your plate. And then at the end, you tally it up. It's cash only, like Dave said. I have this vision. So my grandfather came here in the 50s with the CCC, and he worked in a fire tower or something when he was in his early 20s. I'm like, I bet he ate there.
Probably.
I bet he ate
it's
there.
Been around forever.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. And my son's name is Hudson too. So.
Yeah. And I mean, those are things, once again, those are things that bigger cities start to lose.
Yeah.
San Antonio's got a restaurant called Mi Tierras, and it's downtown, the old farmer's market. And they've actually got 3 restaurants. And most people don't know because you're not supposed to know. They're all connected underground. There's tunnels all over the place. And they've been open like 4 generations, and they never close. And somebody said, oh, yeah, they closed. And I said, well, when the old man died, the founder died, they were closed 3 hours long enough to bury him.
Wow.
And then they showed back up.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, I mean, they never close. The food is standard Tex-Mex food, but it's got a huge story.
Yeah.
You go there just so you can say, hey, I eat at Mi Tierras, and now it's like, hey, I ate at Hudson.
There's an element to the story involved in it, I think, 100%. Yeah. Have you been to Izzy's on 4th Street?
Haven't, but I know about it.
Okay. You need to check that out. All of their stuff is gluten-free, which scares away some people, but you wouldn't know if I didn't tell you.
Gluten.
Yeah. I mean, they have gluten options like burger buns. They have both, but any of the fried food, it's all fried in some kind of rice flour, but you wouldn't know the difference. It's phenomenal. I love it there. That's a great spot. We used to live right around the corner. So that was one of our hangouts in Capone's.
Yep.
Capone. There's 3 Capone's. There's one in Hayden, one in Coeur d'Alene, and one in Post Falls. That's that like good bar food, nice vibe, tons of beer taps, the whole deal. Like that's a cool spot too.
Oh, the other thing this area does really well is there's tons of magazines out there. Most of them are free. I've discovered 1 or 2 of them aren't free because I walked out and my wife's like, I think you were supposed to pay for that. So for any of you grocery stores that are missing your count, it's probably because of me. But they're really good about talking about restaurants and what's going on. And, it's there's something going on in this town every weekend. which is actually really cool. I mean, you know, since we've been here, they've had the car show, they've had the 4th of July, they've had the boat show, which, God, there's some sweet boats out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's the thing in the park, there's this, there's that, there's something going on at Post Falls. And, you know, it's just, and they're all big community stuff. And I know that during the summer, there's a lot of tourism, but it's still a lot of, you know, there's still a lot of people you see at all the different events. And that all builds community. And I mean, that's something Tammy and I have really fallen in love with here, is the sense of community, the sense that, wow.
How, okay. So you changed your name on Instagram. What is it again now?
Oh yeah. It's now, well, I've got I gotta find it. I got a bunch of Instagram accounts. It's, North Idaho Today.
North Idaho Today.
Yeah, and you can actually reach me at ronsmithtoday@outlook.com.
Okay. So if you need more information about food, you're always putting food pics up there and talking about restaurants that you're checking out, things that you check out. That's the place to find Ron. And then I'm trying to get him to open a food truck, but
I got to ask him the question though.
Oh, yeah,
I got to do this. To kind of bring everything together here, I got to ask you, and I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to give you like 5 seconds to pick these. Okay. So morning coffee, where are you going?
I go to Life because I started there.
Okay. Nice. Life. I mean, that's our place.
LYFE. Live your freedom every day.
If I'm driving through, I go to Jitters. Okay. There's Jitters at every corner.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you got to get breakfast. Where's your go-to?
Right now, it's got to be Old European because they blew me away on their service.
Love it. All right. So let's keep moving down.
Chompers.
Okay. How about lunch? Where are you going for lunch today? Where would you be?
Well, maybe Hudson's, but probably if I just wanted a quick down and dirty lunch, it'd be Killer's.
Killer Burger?
Killer Burger.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so if you had to take somebody to a lunch spot or a dinner spot, somebody was in town and you were going to take them one place that was going to wow them, where would you take them for dinner?
My house.
Oh, let's go. I'm waiting.
Let's go. Yeah.
I'm waiting for this. Tammy says he can cook.
That wasn't on the list.
Yeah. That is a really tough question because as you see, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm finding I want to hit all the restaurants to see what all they have. And that's a tough question because there's a lot of good restaurants that I haven't been yet to.
So we'll have to circle back on that one.
All right.
And let him try out some more.
That'll be I'll look for the new dinner place.
Yeah. I want to know what the plug is, where you would take somebody. So we'll keep that. Keep that one in doc
the best, are you going to start a magazine? What are you going to do? Are you just going to document everything on the socials?
Yeah, the magazine's going to come back.
Okay, good.
We're going to.
I'm looking at your social right now.
I got to figure out how we're going to do it. But yeah, we did it for about. It was called Local Touch Comal County, and I've got to come up with a new name. And for all you restaurants and businesses out there, I run a great concept in the fact that the hardest thing about doing a digital magazine is getting somebody to write the articles for.
Yeah.
I've got my magazine set up that I really don't have to make a lot of money in it to start it back up. So if you want to write an article, I'll give you an ad.
Cool.
So that way, it's designed for small businesses. It's designed for the little guy.
Dude, this is cool. You got a lot of foodie stuff on here.
Yeah.
And you even have this picture. Check that out.
That's
the airport.
That's Ron and Tammy in front of
first got here
in front of our Your North Idaho agent airport ad. That's fantastic.
That is awesome.
And as I started this thing, you guys are the reason.
Thanks, brother.
You opened up this community and made us go, wow, that is really cool. There's a couple of your $1 million homes that we won't be buying yet. But it just you had that feel, that vibe.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, we appreciate it. Obviously, you're a good addition to the community because I've lived here 4 years and you opened my eyes on so many things, man.
Dude, this is like already a resource for me. If you do not follow him, North Idaho Today on Instagram, I'm already going through here and seeing restaurants that we haven't even talked about yet.
Let's bump up that follower number, people. Let's get on there.
That is super cool.
Hugely informative. It's so important to have that kind of information accessible. And this is good for our business too, because people are always asking us for recommendations. Now I'll be like, hey, all right, I got a guy. Check him out.
Because local businesses need help.
Yeah.
They don't just need you going in and buying or eating at their restaurant. They need you talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need people to go, hey, like you just asked me, hey man, what do you think's a great coffee place? And even with me, it's like, hey, I know you got a life, but what other coffee places have you thought about? Well, I tried so-and-so, and because he's over here, you know, but life, I mean, damn, I even own a Maverick. So, I mean,
when you talk about community real fast, I know we're almost done here. That is something also. I talked with Cassie Allen from Anchored Coffee, her husband, David Allen. He does real estate with us too. Super cool guy. And that couple, I don't even know if they ever see each other. They're both the busiest people. Unbelievable. So, Best Life just opened their coffee shop just yesterday, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yesterday was grand
Super
opening.
cool. We went down there. That's a neat place. Great people. Anyways, so we went down there to check them out, and Cassie from Anchored supplies their bakery goods.
He supplies the baked goods for life too. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yes.
So they supply those, and it was really cool. I was actually texting Cassie Allen this morning, talking about Michelle, because Michelle, who owns Best Life, she goes, man, Cassie's a direct competitor, right? I mean, she has Anchored Coffee in her bakery and stuff, even though she sells some goods over there. Michelle was just getting it started, and she had some questions, and she goes, she reached out to Cassie. And she goes, her and her husband were down here in like 10 minutes. He was crawling under the basement to figure out how we move the plumbing, what we need to do. And that's the cool thing. I mean, these are two offsetting companies, and they're still just working together to see that, there's enough for everybody to be successful.
Yep. What people don't realize in the restaurant industry, and some people get it, is if you own a restaurant, it's not your job just to get a person in your restaurant. It's your job to get people to go out to eat. Because if you get a community that goes out to eat, eventually they will walk into your restaurant. Yep. If you get a community that doesn't go out to eat,
right,
we're all out of business.
Yeah.
So and Anchored's got a really nice location near the golf course in Post Falls.
Yep.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, they got a few. So
it's a really cool little spot.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you, brother. It's been a pleasure.
Loved it.
Very informative. We'll have to do it again sometime after you get a few more months of research on you, and we'll see what's new. Check them out, North Idaho today on Instagram. And there you go. That's all the info. Thanks again.
I think this calls for some future videos.
Peace out. I'm hungry. Let's go.